Yep, we're going live right now. Just wanna.
Yeah, we are live.
We're live. Yes. Hello, everyone. Hello. We're joining this special event by SaugaTalks. Hello. We'll wait for
Hello.
the audience to get to know where we are and together here with us. Hello, this is Irene with SaugaTalks. And I want to make sure that the technology is friendly because we are on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Facebook, and YouTube. If
This
you're
is
on any
incredible.
if you're on any of these platforms, follow and sign up. And we do need your subscriptions and we do need your comments and likes because this is a very special event by Soga Talks with Pratik Thakker today. Welcome, Pratik. How are you?
I am amazing. Thank you so much for inviting Irene. It's a pleasure to share a screen with you. I'm sure, this is not the first time we will do. It will continue longer. And thank you for having me.
Absolutely, Pratik, because what we're trying to achieve here at Soga Talks, we are speaking with fascinating people in tech who are so generous with their time, with their knowledge and energy to share the insights, to share their experiences. And Pratik, you are unique in this way. You are an HR tech leader. We're going to talk about business just in a moment, but I'd like to start with your personal journey, which is amazing. So could you please talk to us about how did you get where you are from India to Israel, from your childhood to high tech industry and being a prominent player in this field? Mhm.
Wow, that is a very interesting journey. Maybe we need like 4 hours to discuss this, but I
We
will
have
share
time.
it with
We
you.
have time.
We will do that in like few minutes or a few seconds probably to save some time and talk more about HR tech. So my journey, I was born and brought up in Mumbai, India, in a middle class family where everything is like tough. I was not rich. But I had that passion. My father was like a businessman, so he always inspired me to actually be an entrepreneur. So the mindset in the family was there from day one. So journey started as like an entrepreneur at the age of 12, I guess. Then it continued into multiple businesses that I did along the way, while I was also, learning and doing some internships and so on and so forth. Eventually, I met my wife when I was 16. Her name is Nancy. It's high school sweetheart. Since then, we are together. It's been almost 16 years we are together. She's a Jewish girl from India, Mumbai, and we got married because she was working in a Lal Airlines, and she was traveling to Israel a lot frequently. So we thought of moving here, and so this is like journey because Nancy inspired me to move here because I was very much passionate about entrepreneurship, technology, and my love for innovation. So I thought that Israel would be the best place to build our careers. It's been almost a decade now that I'm in Israel, so I call myself more Israeli than Indian now. I think all of the achievements I had in past few years is because of few factors. One of the reason is my wife, definitely. The second one is like you become what you are part of. The society here or the community of entrepreneurs here have inspired me. I learned a lot while my journey here as an entrepreneur. So if you are part of an amazing group who is already successful, you will be the next one. So that's how the culture is in Israeli startup scene. So this is my journey. So at the moment, I have two companies that I'm focused on. One is Webzoli. We are into outsourcing, where we outsource customer support, sales development, digital marketing, web and app development. So we help them outsource in India. And the second is Teslify. Teslify is an HR tech tool helping HR predict who to hire. It's a talent assessment platform, reducing almost 75 to 80% of your time and predicts who you can actually hire. So maybe I'll emphasize in 10 more seconds on what it can do for you in at scale. So let's say you're hiring for a position, okay? And you get like 200 resumes. How do you filter down 200 resumes? It takes like almost whole day or maybe more to go over each and every resume and check this candidate is relevant or not, and then make a phone call and see if it is able to speak good, if it's relevant. So it takes so much time, hours from HR, and still the data. It's not a data-driven decision. It's like guesswork. What we do is remove the guesswork out of the HR process and help you make a data driven decision. So that's what we are trying to solve. It's been amazing journey so far with Teslify. We have customers all over the globe, and we are loving it. By the end of the show, if you listen to us by end of the show, I'll give you a special offer about Teslify. So stay tuned, and if you have comments or questions along the way, feel free to put it down in the chat and I'll be happy to answer as well.
Pratik, let's take a step back. I know you're passionate about Teslify, and it is an amazing platform. I do want to learn more. I know at the end of this talk, people will know, right, how to reach you and how to get access to the platform. Why don't we go broad right now on HR tech trends, as we announced? Because it's at the heart of any enterprise operations. It is at the heart of any company, frankly. We know that the hiring process, the onboarding process, and even exit process affects all of us for the rest of our work career. Don't you find this relevant to anything and everything we do on workplace?
Imagine like world without technology. Okay. It's kind of impossible. Previously, we having a conversation like this was not possible. We are right now talking live. You are in United States, I am in Israel. People around the globe listening to us, it's because of technology. And technology has impacted each and every industry we have. Also, when it comes to like HR, think about like hiring a people or person in 2000, like 20 years ago. It was like so much different process than we have today. We have like schedulers that will help you schedule interviews. You have phone calls, which is so much easier. You have email. You have so much things which goes around technology, which enables you to make the smoother process, right? So definitely HR tech and the innovation have increased in recent years, and in 2025 it will be like even incredible. Almost everything will be done through AI, and artificial intelligence will also like not just help you predict who to hire, will do the whole process in an automated manner, which will save like tons of time, revenue, and it will be like data driven, so there's no margin of error. So that's what I feel like. The technology is a gift that we all have. When it comes to like technology in HR, it has like all of the standards which you mentioned in terms of hiring process, okay, onboarding, then like making sure your employees are happy, they're treated well, they are given raised on raise if they are like performing well, the happiness factor or like employee engagement factor. If something is not working out between employer and employee, how does the firing process look like, by process or whatever you can call it as, right? It is the most toughest one, because we are in a world where we buy everything online, right? And if you don't do, like, let's say if you hire someone, okay, and if you let go that person for some reason in bad faith, that person will like harm your or damage your reputation online, right? So there are now tools available where they can put a review about your company. And let's say a new employee comes to your company for an interview. Before signing the contract, he will review about your company, and if it's not good, your digital reputation is not good, probably he won't sign. He will choose another competitor of yours, or another company who is giving a better deal, a better work culture for that person. So yes, it's so much wide we can talk about. Is there anything specific that Irene, you want me to emphasize on?
Absolutely. I'm reading fun articles and bunch of resources now because again, HR tech is at the heart of technology conversation, whatever you're interested in. So to me, this new Gen Z, not new, but prominent Gen Z generation is taking huge part in workforce, and they are spoiled. They don't like non-digital interactions. Okay, they want self-assessment tools. They want employers to let them live their work life the way they live their social life, the way they
Yeah.
live their life outside of the work. How do you think HR tech will be able to provide that kind of level of connectedness and empathy? Mhm.
So there is one more important aspect, like emails have been replaced by Slack today, right? People in US, or at least in the West, I know that everyone is like using communication for Slack. Now, there is work-life balance required for any organization to succeed. The company culture plays an important role. To build that company culture, there are several tools available out there to actually measure your employee engagement rate, happiness rate. Also helps your company help your employees feel that they are appreciated or timely, if they're performing well and they're achieving their KPI. So to like there are OKR tools that HR teams use for company. OKR is like more of KPI driven project management tools that company has, and like that was introduced by Google initially, and that's like kind of a success story of Google, that they use this project management tool so perfectly well. One of the brand I was associated was Huminos recently. So they are doing OKR. They are into OKR space. So like having that tool introduced. For example, Irene is like into marketing. Okay, what are her KPIs? What are her goals for next quarter? So if she is achieving her goals and KPIs on time, how do you have reward system for her? So if so our human minds are like work better with reward systems. How do you incorporate your reward system in your organization? That will make employee feel appreciated, that will end up being employee working longer than expected. So usually like employees with the company for 2 years on an average today. How you can increase that cycle, that employee stays longer with you and not just 2 or 3 years. So having technology in place, it's very important. There are some tools that I remember also is performance review, where you have like in quarterly check of the employees to make sure that they are getting all of the help from the managers they need, right? If sometimes it's not about like goals and deadlines, but also as an employee they expect a learning curve in the organization. So whether they are like growing within their role is important for employer to know, and if they are not, then it's a bigger problem, and they will probably find a better opportunity where they can actually grow. So these are the kind of things that as an employer you need to take care of.
For sure, for sure. So you did mention AI, right? And there is no any standardization or process automation, including HR, without AI these days. So can you give us some shiny examples? Because we know AI has application in HR all the way from, like you mentioned, recruiting and talent assessment and relevant
So
skills. Yeah.
recently IBM has come with a technology. While hiring, you can actually, like, let's say we are on an interview call. Irene is an hiring manager and I'm an, like, candidate. And while I'm saying the questions, AI can actually detect my facial expressions, the way I speak, my tone, about the trust score of that candidate, how well. Because mostly, based on data, 40% of the resumes lie. Okay. And in on interview, because I did like almost over 5,000 interviews in my career, right? I've like, interviewed so many people because I'm into outsourcing, and I have to meet people. I know when they're lying, and I know when they're not, right? But it is very hard. And if AI is doing that interview, let's say Irene doesn't have to go online. Okay. Irene will be digital Irene, or like, we have Siri for Apple, and she's taking an interview. And when I'm speaking, tell me something about yourself, and I'm saying something about myself, actually AI will, give a proper result at the end of the interview to HR, that this person is XYZ, and this is like the that person's score. And if you evaluate 10 candidates, and automatically you will know which is the best candidate. So that kind of technology will, like, be available in 2025. It's already in like some use cases available, but not extensively used by all organizations. But I think this is the future. uh, when I say future, again, one of the things that is helping is about talent assessment. I mentioned, but which I gave an example of IBM. It's more on, like, taking interview on automated way. But again, like, the current hiring process is more of a guesswork. Okay. Because let's say Irene is an hiring manager, but she is an expert talking to people. She's an human to human expertise, not data scientist, not engineering. How do Irene evaluate a candidate who is a data scientist, right? So these technologies, like talent assessment tools, or like, tools like IBM that I mentioned, will help you actually narrow down the people you want to hire. So that's the future I see. And it already exists with Testify, for example, that we are trying to do. um, yeah.
You brought few important points here. I hear helping, making life easier on both sides of that hiring desk, so to speak. Okay, it's for the candidates,
Hmm.
it's for the recruiting agencies. Okay, they also have the big play in it as a
Hmm.
third party, right? And of course, employers and all kinds of different teams and functions within the employee organization.
Hmm.
Each interview, sometimes, it's 5 to 7 different interviews for very competitive position, right? Imagine how many dozens of people, okay, stop everything they do. And we've been in this situation, for sure. You have to break your day right into and dedicate some part to it. So what I hear is amazing news coming, that this process not only being streamlined, but being more fair, hopefully being more productive on both sides. Mhm.
So problem is a lot of interviews, and it's a fact. Okay. It's biased, because it's human who make decision, and decisions are made on feelings that they have about the other person. It's about likes, right? If I like, let's say I'm taking interview, and there's my partner taking interview. If I like someone, I'll immediately hire that person. It's about my personal choice, it's my gut feeling. Okay. But this doesn't reflect in, like, real business world. And that person who you hired, you might like him as a person, but you might not like him as the skills that he has. So we need to look on the overall skill set without being biased in any way. Okay. Gender, like AI can remove the gender discrimination. Then there is also a bias about, like, personal feeling about the personality, completely based on, like, the level of skill set they have, the level of interaction or communication or soft skill that they possess in order for them to succeed in the role. That kind of technology will be amazing.
For sure, for sure. And I see huge explosion of that technology in 5 years, because you mentioned 2025. Why don't we kind of plan ahead for that evolution? I mean, what's a new, amazing, shiny toy, just around the corner, you think?
So there are a lot of tools actually in HR space today that weren't there. For example, when Google introduced OKR tools, okay, they are kind of an organization tools, but they're not extensively used, or not every company in the world knows about it, right? Still, like, it was released maybe in 2000 or maybe before. I don't know the exact time, but still, like, I came to know about this technology 3 years ago, honestly, or the process they build about this OKR. Okay, so there is still awareness required, right? If you don't share that this technology exists to solve the specific problem, people don't know. And that's why we have now sessions like this, where thought leaders comes and share what they think about the future, what they think about how they can fix specific problem in their process with specific technology they have.
For sure, and that's what we're here for with Soga Talks, exactly that. So sharing the knowledge and basically raising the awareness, right? Because so much going on. I'm empathizing with HR manager or HR executive in large company, right? They have
Mhm.
their day filled with work, with meetings, with the right, with everyday tasks, that educating
Absolutely.
themselves, right? That's where we come in. Absolutely, absolutely, Pratik. So speaking of, again, you mentioned important HR processes and how technology helps there. I still want to emphasize these are all highly, highly sensitive areas, and we all remember through our work career, right, how it went with particular company. Okay, sometimes we
Mhm.
feel excited, encouraged, and sometimes we feel very discouraged. So you mentioned the reputation of the company. What HR leaders should do today, you think, to jump on that wagon and to take advantage of HR tech available?
So, what I personally feel, hiring is important, the first part of the funnel, but the major part of the funnel is making sure that you have that employer branding and employer engagement. When I say employer engagement and branding, first of all, HR has to not just focus on just hiring new people, but also making sure that who is already hired is happy and is staying with you longer and longer. So you can, like, focus on building the great company culture. That should be like number one priority. Let me give you an example. Okay, in today's world, I see a lot of companies or startup who raise bigger investment rounds. They hire like crazy. Let's say if I'm getting a salary of $10,000 or $5,000 a month, other startup will offer like $10,000. They will give 100% raise, or 80% raise, or 50% raise to acquire a talent from other company. Okay, now think about, if the same company who that person is working for, and if that person is doing amazing job, why can't company give like at least 20% raise, so that before even he asks for a raise, okay, before he thinks of switching the company, that makes employee feel appreciated, and that will create a loyal employee, and he won't even think of like 40-50% raise if you gave him in advance, right? So that's the kind of psychology change which is required. Now, there are a lot of things that you can do in order for you to fix your employer branding. So LinkedIn is the biggest place, I would say, that you should focus on, because anything which you are going to do or you're doing exists on LinkedIn. Majority of the hiring, majority of the employer branding, or sales or marketing, or anything which you do in your business is done through LinkedIn today. And you need to make sure your reputation on LinkedIn is like, par excellence. Okay, when somebody lands on your company page, they should have say, wow, I want to work here. That's the kind of feeling you have to create. So you can start with, like, testimonials of your current employees. You have to do like once a week. leveraging, like, this community, this network of individuals who are looking for a job. They need to feel that people have an amazing work life balance in this company that will attract newer talent without you having to, like, spend more and more energy on, like, hiring new talent. People will actually want to work with you. That's the kind of branding you want to create. Now, when I say about branding, it's equally important to have that work life balance. There are a lot of tools available today. Companies are much more, like, adaptable towards work life balance. Hybrid models have came into place after the COVID kick in. I think technology is a great thing, where each and every part of the funnel has specific technology that you can have, right? um, One of the important factor about having something which is important, in my opinion, as in a company or a startup, is ATS platform, right? ATS platform. uh, let's say, for example, you are in a company which is hiring for 10 different positions. So you might receive like 1,000 applicants in a 1 month. Okay, how do you treat that data? Okay, not everyone you will hire, right? Almost you will hire 10 people out of 1,000. That's 1%, or maybe not even 1%, 0.01%. Okay. uh, Now, all of these people who are not hired, how you are treating them, this is important. Technology can help them get proper answer and response from HR. Usually what happens, or what was happening in the past, they were not hearing back from HR, right? They applied for a job, at least say yes, no, what it is, right? If they took an interview, they don't get back to them, right? It's so unprofessional. So this technology can automate this for you, right? If somebody is rejected, and if, let's say, you interviewed 50 people and you hired one person, you just mark that position as hired. Automatically system will send an email to all 50 that this position has been filled, and we will reach out to you in the future, and good luck, blah blah blah. Okay, this is, like, important, and they won't have any negative reputation of the company in their mind, and they will apply next time, or else you lose them forever. So this is something important.
Absolutely. And again, you stepped into another critical point, okay? Because everyone been in these shoes. When you don't hear, you invested in company, you not only applied, right? You thought about very customized application, right? You went through the thinking process. You prepared for that interview, right? Hours and hours of work and energy. And usually, people can't do anything else that day. So the whole productive day went down that channel, and you don't hear anything back. This leaves mark, if not forever, for a very long time. So what you're bringing in, Pratik, is that it's not technology that's going to save those businesses, right? It is culture, and it is processes, and it's empathy.
It's
Empathy
empathy.
with
Yes, it's
people. How do you
empathy.
feel if you're on the other side of that? Yeah,
So
that
the
process.
reason, based on, like, my understanding with HR community that I speak to, previously, they had a hard time to actually reach out to each and every prospect in the flow, right? And what was happening is, they had a lot of resumes that they have to answer. Irene, you with me? Hello. So I'll continue while Irene is joining. So previously, what happened was, a lot of HR has an issue with messaging each and every one. They were not selected or whatever. But technology actually makes life easier. With one click of a button, you can actually inform all of the candidates who weren't hired. So this is very crucial, and that's where you can, like, bring in some tools that can help you with all of your workload that you have. A smaller organization have one HR person, right? They have to handle all of the hiring, firing, company culture and everything. How do that one person will manage a team of 50, right? So this small changes and tools and processes helps you build a better culture, a better organization, and eventually it will give you a better success.
Exactly. Pratik, I'm enjoying this conversation immensely. Yet
Thank you.
we have to be mindful of the time. So what I've heard is that every conversation about technology starts with tools and strategy and ends up with people, with
Mhm.
empathy and with the culture. So few takeaways, Pratik, please, for the audience, something we want to remember this talk by.
So, firstly, I feel number one takeaway that I would like to give: be open to technology. If there are some tools out there which you think might help you reduce your work hours, uh, just go and look for yourself. Today technology or any companies offer a free trial, right? Try for yourself, see if it's working for you, and if it's reducing your time and effort and also saving some money on the, like, because you're saving hours, you're eventually saving money, right, for your budget that you have for hiring. So there's worth spending time in exploring those technology. The second takeaway I would give is like automating all of the processes so that you have a better hiring process and empathy that you mentioned. So one click of a button can actually send an email to 100 people that you were not selected this time. Probably we will reach out to you when you have a new open position in the same area. So you save that prospect or save that candidate, and when you have that new position, automatically they will get an email: we have an open position, we want to apply. That kind of automation changes life, right? So this kind of things, you need to simplify the process in terms of hiring, and you can do that with ATS platforms. Again, there are technology which help you reduce time. Maybe can I talk about Teslify for a moment, where they can I think it's important. Newer technology, which is like, reduce your time for hiring, when I mentioned. So you can also try Teslify. And just because I partnered with SaugaTalk, I promise that I will give something to the audience, something valuable that they might willing to try the platform. So I'm giving away 2 months of free platform worth $398. So there's no strings attached. You just need to go to the site, sign up, and try for yourself. We are not pushy. If you like it, if you are trying to solve your problem, if it works, amazing. If it doesn't, then it's all good. So it's worth trying. And if you have any other questions, you have my LinkedIn. Feel free to reach me out on LinkedIn. I respond to each and every messages I get. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining in today.
Thank you, Pratik, so much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Irene.